The title Mass Effect 3 was a controversial game at the time of launch, and, surely, the many criticisms it received were perfectly warranted. However, it can't be denied that even with numerous problems, Mass Effect 3 is a worthwhile game. It's been a decade since BioWare finished its lovely space trilogy, and the endgame still looks rich. We're going to take a look at Mass Effect 3 in this video and discuss why this game is still worth playing. If you've been a fan of Mass Effect, you've most likely had a lot of game expectations from the very early moments of the Mass Effect 3 game. Even if it wasn't, you'll probably still remember the game's unparalleled introduction. An incredible opening that opens the way for telling the rest of the story well. At the very beginning of the story, the Reapers invade the Earth, and the galaxy is immediately attacked on all fronts by this old, horrible enemy that we've been preparing to fight in the last two games. It was a strong, unbeaten and dramatic start that instantly attracted you to the game. Mass Effect 3 undoubtedly has one of the best prologues in the history of the game industry. Mass Effect's biggest strength, or at least one of its biggest strengths, has been great characters. However, part of the reasons for fans' frustration with Andromeda, it was not great in characterization. Fortunately, Mass Effect 3 didn't even have a small amount of such a problem. With characters like Mordin, Liara, Talai, Garrus, Legion and many others, the creators restored the most popular characters of the previous two games. This attraction even included the sub-characters of the story, and the creators paid great attention to them alongside the main characters. With all these interpretations, surely the characterization qualities of all the characters in the game were not on the same level. For example, James Vega is a fairly unforgettable character. One of Mass Effect 3's most influential characters worthy of special accolades is the Elusive Man. Introduced for the first time in Mass Effect 2, he instantly made a huge impression on everyone with his unparalleled and engaging presence. Mass Effect 3 presented his return as a much more significant and serious threat, making him one of the story's main antagonists. If you've experienced Mass Effect 3, you'll find out what trouble this negative character caused to Normandy's group. Nothing gets as strong as a villain with magnetic powers, right? We all know that Mass Effect 3 wasn't very often associated with satisfactory conclusions. Although ending the game was one of the main problems, it stuck the final conclusion to several important narrative arcs in the rest of the game. Think of Genophage, the conflict between the Krogans and the Turians and how they all solve at the end of the game. Think of the Quarians and the Geth and their endless warfare and how that particular story ends properly. Think about how important these fictional arcs of the game are. Mass Effect 3 doesn't finish the trilogy in a satisfying way in many ways, but the narrative twists that take its time to end in the best possible way. Mass Effect 3 is an eventful game from start to finish. A lot of things happen, and narrative twists and all the important things that are going on contribute greatly to the narrative of the game. Many of those scenes and moments are still not completely forgotten and are remembered by the players. Kai Lang and Thane's fight that took place in Citadel when Shepard tries to talk about the fleet of Quarians and the Geth when Mordin sacrifices himself to finally make Genophage cure. And of course, all of these scenes can vary depending on the player's previous choices. Either way, Mass Effect 3 is full of memorable and myriad moments for fans of the series. An epic story that's exciting moment by moment. Every Mass Effect game has made significant improvements in the fight section compared to its previous version. For example, when the series uses Gears of War-inspired cover style. The fighting system in this game is great. There are a lot of guns that make a meaningful difference and firing them all conveys a good feeling to the player. Using your powers, abilities and combining them with a shooting mechanism is a lot of fun. The diversity of enemies is enormous and you encounter different types of enemies that create unique challenges, and they force you to change the strategy. Undoubtedly, the fighting in Mass Effect 3 are better than all previous versions. BioWare released several high-quality DLC for Mass Effect games over the years. While Mass Effect 2 Lair of the Shadow Broker is still referred to as the best DLC of the series, Mass Effect 3 also received significant support after launch. The Omega DLC was a good trip back to the secret space station, which was accompanied by the return of Aria T'Loak. The DLC from Ashes was a small, fun episode that added Javik to the game as a co-audition, although at the time, it was a bit ludicrous for one of Prothean's ages to be relegated to the DLC. Then DLC Leviatha was released, an incredible product that dealt deep into the roots of the Reapers. Finally, there was Citadel, could even compete with Lair of the Shadow Broker for the title of Best Series Extension Package. Of course, Extended Cut's free update also made significant improvements at the end of the game. Overall, as far as post-supply support is concerned, BioWare did not perform badly in this regard. Music is an important part of Mass Effect's strengths that are often overlooked. Sure, the soundtrack of the series is generally admired, but it's usually overshadowed by fan accolades of story, characters, selection-based gameplay and more. So let's take a moment and appreciate the goodness of the Mass Effect 3 soundtrack, from sad moments of game to exploding and vibrant sequences. The music of the game is always in the best quality and plays the right notes at more appropriate times. It's been almost a decade since Mass Effect 3 was released, so obviously this effect won't surprise you with its own visual effects. However, these visual effects are still eye-catching and modern. Most game points still look great, and the issue helps make the series' robust artistic design fully self-explanatory here as well. Even if you go back and play the original version, you'll still probably notice the great graphics in time of release. Of course, experiencing the game again through the remaster version is a better option that brings us to the end strength and the main reason for Mass Effect 3's re-experience. The best thing about re-experiencing Mass Effect 3 is that there's an easy way to do it thanks to Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Due to its high quality and improved textures, it is natural that the Mass Effect 3 experience becomes more enjoyable. It can be said that Mass Effect 3 hasn't been re-experienced as much as the first game. Packs and all the game DLC in single pack experienceable. Meanwhile, with some regular tricks and changes in gameplay, it also improves the experience mildly but significantly. This package is now available through the Game Pass service. What do you think of the third Mass Effect? Have you experienced it? What fascinating memory do you have of playing this title? Be sure to share your comments with me in comments section.